Hidden beneath dense jungles, buried under shifting sands, and submerged in ocean depths lie architectural marvels that challenge everything we think we know about ancient history. The pre-Columbian peoples of the Americas built astonishing structures that still baffle scientists today, structures so precisely engineered, so mysteriously abandoned, and so advanced for their time that modern engineers struggle to explain them. From pyramids larger than Egypt's Great Pyramid to underwater cities shrouded in controversy, these 25 unexplained monuments hold secrets that rewrite our understanding of human civilization. These weren't primitive societies, they were master astronomers, ingenious engineers, and sophisticated artists whose achievements vanish into the mist of time. Why did they build these monumental structures? How did they move stones weighing hundreds of tons without wheels or metal tools? And most haunting of all, what caused them to abandon their magnificent cities? Join us as we unravel the greatest architectural mysteries left behind by these vanished civilizations, where every stone tells a story and every ruin whispers forgotten truths about humanity's past. The answers you're about to discover will change how you see ancient history forever. Now let's turn our attention to a true titan of the ancient world, one that has quietly held its title as the largest pyramid on Earth for centuries, yet remains overshadowed in popular imagination. The Great Pyramid of Cholula, nestled in the heart of modern-day Mexico, isn't just a structure, it's an entire mountain of human ambition. To put its scale into perspective, this colossal monument has a base 4 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza and nearly double the volume. Yet, unlike its Egyptian counterpart, Cholula's pyramid doesn't soar dramatically into the sky. Instead, it hides in plain sight, cloaked under layers of earth and vegetation so effectively that Spanish conquistadors mistook it for a natural hill and built a church on top of it. What makes this pyramid truly fascinating is how it grew over generations like a living thing. Archaeologists have uncovered at least 6 distinct construction phases, each civilization adding new layers like nesting dolls, starting from small ceremonial platforms around 300 years before the Common Era and culminating in the massive structure we see today. The oldest layers reveal intricate murals depicting scenes of ritual revelry, including the famed Drinking Rabbits fresco, where anthropomorphic rabbits toast with cups of pulque, an ancient alcoholic beverage. These artistic treasures suggest the pyramid wasn't just a religious center but a vibrant hub of ceremony and myth. The pyramid's religious significance remains shrouded in mystery, but clues point to its dedication to Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity worshipped across Mesoamerica. Some researchers believe the pyramid's original orientation aligned with the sacred mountain Popocatépetl, blurring the line between man-made monument and natural divinity. Even more intriguing are the tunnels bored through the structure by early archaeologists' labyrinths that reveal how each layer was carefully preserved rather than demolished during expansions, hinting at a deep reverence for the past. So why hasn't Cholula achieved the fame of Giza? Part of the answer lies in its unconventional appearance. Time and erosion softened its edges, while colonial efforts to Christianize the site further obscured its origins. But perhaps the bigger reason is simply perception. While Egypt's pyramids stand isolated in the desert, demanding awe, Cholula's pyramid blends into the landscape, a silent testament to a civilization that saw grandeur not in dominating nature, but in harmonizing with it. Today, visitors can climb the church-topped hill and walk through ancient tunnels, standing atop a hidden masterpiece that still whispers secrets of the pre-Columbian world. Leaving the colossal but hidden grandeur of Cholula behind, we journey deeper into the mysteries of the ancient Americas, this time into the heart of the Guatemalan rainforest. Here, the ruins of Tikal rise like stone sentinels from the jungle canopy, a sprawling metropolis that once thrived as one of the most powerful cities of the Maya civilization. Unlike Cholula's earth-blanketed pyramid, Tikal's monuments pierce the sky with dramatic steepness, their limestone facades standing as stark reminders of a society that mastered both architecture and astronomy. Tikal's most iconic structure, Temple 4, towers over 230 feet above the forest floor, the tallest pre-Columbian building in the Americas. Climbing its weathered steps today, you're rewarded with a view of endless green, broken only by the peaks of other temples. But for the Maya, these pyramids weren't just buildings, they were celestial gateways. Researchers have discovered that Temple 4 aligns precisely with the path of Venus during its brightest appearances, while the entire city's layout mirrors constellations sacred to Maya cosmology. The main plaza, flanked by towering temples, acts as a colossal astronomical calendar, with solstice sunrises perfectly framed between specific structures. What makes Tikal even more enigmatic is its sudden abandonment around the 9th century. At its peak, the city housed nearly 100,000 people, yet within decades, its palaces and temples fell silent. Unlike other collapses tied to drought or invasion, Tikal's downfall leaves fewer clues. Excavations reveal hastily abandoned workshops, half-carved monuments, and even unfinished buildings, suggesting a rapid, possibly planned exodus. Some theories point to political upheaval or resource depletion, but the truth remains as tangled as the vines that reclaimed the city. Then there's the acoustics. Stand in the Grand Plaza, whisper toward Temple 1, and your voice will carry with unnatural clarity to someone standing over 500 feet away, an effect the Maya likely engineered for rituals. The plaza's precise proportions and the temple's staggered heights create a natural amplifier, turning even soft chants into reverberating echoes. Combined with the jungle's dense acoustics, it's easy to imagine how ceremonies here would have felt supernatural to participants. Rediscovered in the 1840s by a gum harvesting crew, Tikal's ruins spent centuries hidden under a living green shroud. Even now, only a fraction of its estimated 3,000 structures have been excavated. Every season, archaeologists uncover new temples, tombs, and even ball courts, each find adding layers to the mystery. Walking Tikal's causeways at dawn, as howler monkeys roar and mist clings to the pyramids, you're not just visiting ruins, you're stepping into a city that still breathes with the secrets of the Maya. Now let's plunge into a mystery hidden beneath the waves. Far from the jungles of Guatemala, off the coast of Japan's Yonaguni Island, lies an underwater formation that has sparked fierce debate. Discovered by a diver in 1986, the Yonaguni Monument is a massive terraced structure that some claim could be the ruins of a lost pre-Columbian city, while others insist it's merely a stunning quirk of nature. The monument's most striking features are its near-perfect right angles, flat platforms, and what appear to be staircases carved into the rock. One section, nicknamed the Turtle, resembles an ancient altar, while another looks eerily like a stepped pyramid. Proponents of the man-made theory, like marine archaeologist Masaki Kimura, argue that these details defy natural erosion patterns. They point to tool marks, symmetrical channels, and even what might be a carved human face, details that suggest deliberate craftsmanship. Kimura believes the site could be part of the legendary lost continent of Mu, or perhaps a trading outpost of an advanced seafaring culture. But geologists counter that sandstone, the rock composing Yonaguni, often fractures into geometric shapes due to tectonic activity. The region sits in an earthquake-prone zone, and natural forces could explain the monument's angular features. Skeptics note that similar formations exist elsewhere in the world without human intervention. Yet, even among doubters, there's unease. Some concede that while the base structure is natural, ancient peoples might have modified it, creating a hybrid of geology and human ingenuity. Adding fuel to the controversy are nearby artifacts, stone tools, and pottery fragments found on the ocean floor, though their connection to the monument remains unclear. The site's depth, around 80 feet underwater, suggests it would have been above sea level during the last ice age, roughly 10,000 years ago. That timeline overlaps with theoretical advanced civilizations, but conclusive evidence is elusive. Diving at Yonaguni is like swimming through a riddle. Schools of hammerhead sharks glide past the terraces, and the play of light on the stone blurs the line between natural and artificial. Whether the monument is a sunken city or a geological marvel, its eerie beauty is undeniable. For now, it remains one of archaeology's most tantalizing what-ifs, a reminder that the oceans, like the jungles, still guard ancient secrets. Now, shifting our gaze from the depths of the ocean to the lush riverbanks of Costa Rica, we encounter a puzzle just as baffling: the enigmatic stone spheres of the Diquis Delta. Unearthed in the 1930s as workers cleared land for banana plantations, these nearly perfect orbs range in size from a few inches to over 6 feet in diameter, some weighing as much as 16 tons. Their smooth, sculpted surfaces and precise geometry have left archaeologists and engineers alike scratching their heads. How did an ancient culture without modern tools achieve such flawless symmetry? And more mysteriously, why the spheres are carved from gabbro, a hard volcanic rock, as well as limestone and sandstone. What's astonishing is their precision. Many are within millimeters of being perfectly round, a feat that would challenge even today's technology. Some theories suggest their creators used a combination of heat, cold, and pecking with stone tools to shape them, followed by polishing with sand or leather. Yet no one has fully replicated the process, leaving gaps in our understanding. Their purpose remains an even greater riddle. Found near former settlements, burial sites, and even aligned in geometric patterns, the spheres might have served as astronomical markers, territorial symbols, or status indicators for elite families. One cluster, discovered near a chief's residence, was arranged to mirror constellations, hinting at celestial significance. But with no written records from the Diquis people, these interpretations rely heavily on educated guesses. Local legends add another layer of intrigue. Indigenous tales speak of the spheres as relics from the gods of the sky, who gifted them to humanity before vanishing. Another myth claims they're enchanted cannonballs fired by a primordial giant frozen in time. While these stories can't be taken as historical fact, they reflect the deep cultural imprint the spheres left on the region's collective memory. Today, many spheres have been relocated, some to museums, others displayed as lawn ornaments, complicating efforts to study them in their original context. Looters and vandalism have also taken a toll, with dynamite once used to crack open spheres in futile searches for gold. Yet despite these challenges, the stones endure as silent witnesses to a lost civilization's ingenuity. Unlike the towering pyramids or intricate temples we've explored, the Diquis spheres derive their power from simplicity. Their perfect forms, scattered like marbles across the landscape, invite us to ponder not just how they were made, but what they meant to the people who shaped them. In a world obsessed with grand monuments, these quiet spheres remind us that mystery often lies in the smallest, most perfect details. Now, let's journey from the enigmatic stone spheres of Costa Rica to the sun-baked deserts of southern Peru, where an even grander mystery stretches across the earth: the Nazca Lines. Etched into the arid plains over 2,000 years ago, these colossal geoglyphs are so vast that their true forms only reveal themselves from high above. Imagine standing on the ground and seeing nothing but shallow scratches in the dirt, only to ascend in a plane and discover a 500-foot hummingbird, a 200-foot spider, or a 1,000-foot-long pelican staring back at you. The sheer scale of these designs defies logic, leaving researchers to wonder, how did the Nazca people, without the advantage of flight, create such precise, sprawling artwork? The lines were made by removing the reddish-brown iron oxide-coated pebbles that cover the desert, exposing the lighter-colored earth beneath. This technique, while simple in concept, becomes extraordinary when you consider the precision required. Some lines run perfectly straight for miles, undeterred by the rugged terrain, while curves and spirals maintain flawless symmetry. The Nazca achieved this without modern surveying tools, leading to theories that they might have used rudimentary grids, ropes, or even scaled-down models to transfer their designs onto the desert canvas. But the bigger question is why. One prominent theory suggests the lines served as an astronomical calendar, aligning with celestial events like solstices or the rising of certain stars. For instance, the famous spider glyph closely mirrors the constellation Orion, while other lines point to the sun's position during key agricultural periods. Others argue the geoglyphs were ritual pathways walked by priests during ceremonies to invoke rain or fertility in this parched landscape. Then there's the more controversial idea proposed by figures like Erich von Däniken that the lines were landing strips for extraterrestrial visitors. While mainstream scholars dismiss this, the theory persists in pop culture, fueled by the line's otherworldly grandeur. A more grounded hypothesis ties them to underground water sources, with the shapes acting as markers for subterranean aquifers critical to survival in the desert. What's undeniable is the Nazca Lines' enduring mystique. Unlike the stone spheres which invite touch, these designs demand distance, a reminder that some ancient wonders were meant to be seen, not held. Their survival for millennia, untouched by wind or erosion, is a testament to the Nazca's understanding of their environment. Yet modern threats loom: illegal mining, off-road vehicles, and even climate change risk erasing these fragile artworks. As we marvel at the Nazca Lines, we're left with a paradox. They are both unmistakably there, visible, measurable, real, and utterly elusive in meaning. Were they messages to the gods, maps of the cosmos, or something we've yet to imagine? In a world where we've mapped every inch of the planet, these ancient lines remind us that the Earth still holds secrets, waiting for the right perspective to reveal them. Now, let's leave the sprawling desert canvas of the Nazca Lines and ascend into the high-altitude plains of Bolivia, where another marvel of ancient engineering stands shrouded in mystery: the Gateway of the Sun. Perched within the ruins of Tiwanaku, a city that thrived over 1,000 years before the Inca, this towering stone arch is a masterpiece of precision and symbolism. Carved from a single block of andesite weighing an astonishing 10 tons, the gateway is adorned with intricate bas-reliefs that have baffled researchers for centuries. At its center looms the so-called Weeping God, a figure with tear-streaked cheeks and radiating headdress, flanked by rows of winged attendants. Some interpret this deity as Viracocha, the creator god of Andean mythology, while others see hints of celestial beings or even ancient astronauts. What makes the gateway even more extraordinary is its alignment with the cosmos. During the winter solstice, the first rays of sunlight pierce through the arch's center, illuminating the weeping god in a dramatic display of light and shadow. This suggests the Tiwanaku people possessed advanced astronomical knowledge, using the gateway as both a ritual focal point and a celestial calendar. Yet the precision of its construction raises a pressing question. How did a civilization without wheels or draft animals transport and elevate such massive stones? The nearby Puma Punku complex offers clues. Some of its blocks weigh over 100 tons and fit together with such tight joints that not even a razor blade can slip between them. Theories abound. Some propose the Tiwanaku used ramps, ropes, and sheer manpower, while others speculate about lost technologies or even levitation. Local legends speak of a time when stones moved by themselves, guided by the sound of a golden reed. Modern experiments have shown that certain frequencies can alter the apparent weight of objects, adding a tantalizing layer to the mystery. Equally puzzling is the gateway's abrupt abandonment. By the time the Inca arrived in the 15th century, Tiwanaku was already a ruin, its people vanished and their secrets buried. The Gateway of the Sun is more than a relic, it's a puzzle carved in stone. Its intricate iconography, celestial alignment, and unexplained construction techniques challenge our understanding of pre-Columbian ingenuity. Was it a portal to the divine, a marker of cosmic cycles, or a testament to a forgotten technology? As the highland winds whisper through its weathered frame, the gateway stands silent, guarding its enigmas with the same stoic patience it has for millennia. Now, let's descend from the sunlit heights of Tiwanaku into the shadowy depths of Ecuador's Cave of the Teos, a labyrinthine underworld steeped in legend and controversy. Hidden beneath the dense Amazonian jungle, this vast cave system has ignited imaginations for decades, thanks to persistent rumors of a hidden metallic library, an alleged repository of ancient knowledge etched onto mysterious metal plates. The story begins with local Shuar indigenous people who have long regarded the cave as sacred. They speak of guardians protecting its secrets, warning outsiders of supernatural forces within. But the tale took a wild turn in the 1960s when Argentine explorer Juan Morix claimed to have discovered the metallic library, describing plates engraved with strange symbols that hinted at a lost civilization. His account caught the attention of Erich von Däniken, the controversial author of Chariots of the Gods, who theorized the plates were evidence of extraterrestrial contact. Von Däniken proposed that the cave held advanced alien technology, a notion that fueled expeditions and debates. Skeptics, however, point out the lack of physical evidence. Despite multiple searches, no one has produced the fabled plates. Geologists argue that the cave's unusual formations, smooth walls, and geometric chambers are natural, shaped by water erosion over millennia. Yet, the mystery deepens when considering the Shuar's own traditions. Their oral histories describe ancestors who communicated with celestial beings, and some believe the caves were once part of a larger network connecting distant sacred sites. Adding to the intrigue is the cave's bizarre acoustics. Explorers report eerie echoes and unexplained sounds, as if the walls themselves whisper secrets. In 1976, a joint British-Ecuadorian expedition, including astronaut Neil Armstrong, ventured into Teos but found no trace of the metallic library. Armstrong's involvement only amplified speculation, though he remained tight-lipped about what, if anything, he witnessed. So, is the Cave of the Teos a natural wonder wrapped in myth, or does it conceal something extraordinary? The Shuar's warnings, the lack of definitive proof, and the enduring allure of von Däniken's theories keep the debate alive. Whether a product of human imagination or a genuine enigma, Teos challenges us to question where myth ends and history begins, and whether some secrets are meant to stay buried. Leaving behind the echoing whispers of Teos, we journey now to the sun-baked highlands of Oaxaca, Mexico, where the ancient Zapotec city of Monte Albon guards one of Mesoamerica's most puzzling galleries, the danzantes or dancers. These haunting stone carvings scattered across the site's main plaza depict human figures frozen in twisted, almost agonized poses, their limbs splayed, faces contorted, and torsos bent unnaturally. At first glance, they seem to writhe in motion, lending them their poetic name. But scholars have debated for decades, are these truly dancers or something far darker? The danzantes date back to Monte Albon's earliest phase, around 500 BCE, making them some of the oldest sculptures at the site. Their style is starkly different from later Zapotec art, with exaggerated features, bulging eyes, open mouths, and distorted limbs that defy easy interpretation. One prevailing theory suggests they represent sacrificed war captives, their poses capturing the moment of death or torture. Supporting this is the fact that many figures display genital mutilation, a known practice in Mesoamerican warfare to humiliate enemies. Some carvings even feature glyphs naming rival towns, implying these were defeated leaders immortalized in stone as warnings. Yet other researchers argue the danzantes symbolize disease or physical suffering. Several figures exhibit symptoms akin to congenital disorders or infections, with swollen joints and arched spines resembling conditions like scoliosis or leprosy. The Zapotecs revered their healers, and these carvings might have served as medical records or pleas to deities for relief. Intriguingly, a few slabs show figures with what appear to be growths or tumors, fueling speculation about early diagnosis etched in stone. Then there's the dance hypothesis. Some anthropologists propose the poses reflect ritual movements, perhaps part of ceremonies honoring the gods of fertility or rain. The figure's fluidity mirrors later Mesoamerican dances depicted in codices, where contortions symbolized connections to the spirit world. Could the danzantes be priests or shamans mid-trance, their bodies bending under divine influence? The truth may lie in a blend of these ideas. The Zapotecs likely saw no contradiction between dance, sacrifice, and healing. All were intertwined in their cosmology. What's undeniable is the danzantes' eerie power. Unlike the rigid monuments of other cultures, these carvings pulse with raw emotion, their ambiguity pulling us into the Zapotec mindset. Were they meant to intimidate enemies, document suffering, or channel sacred energy? With no written records explaining them, the stones keep their secrets. And as the oak-second sun casts long shadows across their weathered surfaces, the danzantes continue their silent, enigmatic performance, one we're left to interpret but never fully understand. From the silent stone dancers of Monte Albán, we descend now into the hidden depths of Teotihuacan, where an underground labyrinth holds clues to one of Mesoamerica's most startling discoveries. Buried beneath the towering Pyramid of the Sun lies a network of tunnels, their walls slick with traces of liquid mercury and lined with cryptic offerings. This subterranean world, discovered only in the 1970s, has sparked fierce debate about its purpose. Was it a sacred pathway to the underworld, a royal tomb, or something even more mysterious? The tunnels stretch for nearly 100 meters, descending in a series of chambers that mirror the cosmos above. Archaeologists found the floors coated with glittering mercury, a metal so rare and toxic in the ancient world that its presence here defies logic. The Maya and Aztecs associated mercury with the underworld, believing its reflective surface acted as a portal to the realm of the dead. Some theorize priests used it in rituals, its shimmering pools creating illusions of starry skies or spectral figures during ceremonies. Others suggest it was a safeguard meant to deter grave robbers with its poison. But the mercury is just one piece of the puzzle. The tunnels are littered with symbolic offerings, jade statues, obsidian blades, and the remains of sacred animals like jaguars and eagles. Most haunting are the human handprints pressed into the walls, their fingers smeared with pigment as if reaching out from the past. These aren't random marks, they're arranged in precise patterns, possibly mapping constellations or ancestral lineages. One chamber contains a miniature landscape of tiny mountains and rivers, perhaps a ritual replica of Teotihuacan itself, a city believed to be the birthplace of the gods. What ties these discoveries together is their likely connection to Teotihuacan's sudden collapse around 550 CE. The city, once home to more than 100,000 people, was abandoned in a matter of decades. Some scholars argue the tunnels hold the answer. Mercury poisoning could have seeped into water supplies, causing madness or death among the elite. Alternatively, the tunnels might have been sealed in a final, desperate act, a way to contain whatever power or curse the rulers feared. Local legends speak of the gods burying Teotihuacan's secrets underground after its fall, warning that disturbing them would bring catastrophe. The tunnels force us to rethink Teotihuacan's legacy. This wasn't just a city of grand pyramids, it was a place obsessed with the unseen. The mercury, the handprints, the miniature world, all suggest a civilization deeply attuned to the boundary between life and death. As archaeologists continue to explore these passageways, one thing is clear: Teotihuacan's greatest mysteries don't rise toward the sun, they coil in the dark below, waiting. Descending from the shadowy tunnels of Teotihuacan, let's ascend to the windswept highlands of Bolivia, where an even more expansive enigma stretches across the Altiplano. The Nazca Lines, a sprawling web of ancient pathways, crisscross the Earth with such precision and scale that they dwarf even the famous Nazca Lines. Over 16,000 kilometers of these perfectly straight lines radiate from the sacred Mount Nazca, carved into the stark landscape by hands we can only guess at. Unlike Nazca's intricate animal figures, these are geometric, a grid of intersecting paths that form a colossal, almost otherworldly blueprint. What's staggering is their sheer ambition. These lines aren't mere scratches on the surface. Many are trenches dug up to 1 meter deep and 3 meters wide, stretching unbroken for kilometers across plains, over hills and through valleys. Their builders ignored natural obstacles with a determination that suggests these paths held profound significance. Some researchers argue they were pilgrimage routes, guiding travelers to Mount Nazca, a volcano revered as a deity by the indigenous Aymara people. Others propose they functioned as territorial markers, dividing sacred or communal lands among ancient Andean cultures, but the most tantalizing theory, that they were part of a celestial map aligning with solstices or star paths, much like the Nazca Lines, yet on a scale so vast it's barely comprehensible. The parallels to Nazca are unavoidable, but the differences are just as revealing. While the Nazca Lines were likely ceremonial, designed to be seen from above, the Nazca Lines feel utilitarian. They're not just for viewing, they invite walking. Some paths still gleam with traces of compacted white clay, as if polished by centuries of feet. This hints at a practical use, perhaps trade routes connecting distant communities or processional ways for rituals honoring the mountain spirit. Yet, unlike Nazca, there's no iconography here, no zoomorphic glyphs to decode. The message is in the lines themselves, a relentless, almost obsessive repetition of order imposed on the chaos of nature. Dating these lines is a puzzle in itself. While they're often attributed to the pre-Inca Tiwanaku culture, their origins could be far older. The Aymara, who inherited the region, speak of their ancestors drawing the earth in a time before memory. What's certain is that maintaining these paths would have required staggering coordination. Imagine generations of people, perhaps entire villages, laboring to clear and maintain these arteries across the Altiplano's harsh terrain. The effort speaks to a society deeply invested in unity, or perhaps one compelled by a shared spiritual vision. Today, the Nazca Lines remain startlingly visible from the air, yet they're often overlooked in favor of flashier sights. That's a shame, because their simplicity holds a quiet power. They challenge us to rethink ancient connections not just between earth and sky, but between people. Were they highways for the faithful, borders of a forgotten kingdom, or something else entirely? As the highland winds slowly erase their edges, the lines whisper one certainty. This was a landscape etched by purpose, a testament to human ambition written not in stone but in the very skin of the earth. Leaving behind the sprawling lines of Nazca, our journey now takes us to the heart of the Inca Empire, where stone meets sky in a display of engineering so audacious it defies belief. Perched high above Cusco, the fortress of Sacsayhuaman is a labyrinth of zigzagging walls built from megaliths so perfectly fitted that not even a blade of grass can slip between them. These stones, some weighing as much as 200 tons, curve and interlock like pieces of an impossible jigsaw puzzle. How did the Inca, or perhaps their mysterious predecessors, shape and move these colossal blocks without modern tools? And why does Sacsayhuaman's design seem to echo techniques found in civilizations thousands of miles and years apart? The precision here is staggering. Walls rise in jagged, lightning-bolt patterns, their boulders carved with such exact angles that they lock together without mortar. Even more perplexing are the rounded edges, a signature of Inca masonry, which some argue helped the structures withstand earthquakes. But the real enigma lies in the transportation. These stones were hauled from quarries over 20 miles away, across steep Andean terrain without wheels or draft animals. Local legends speak of giants who built Sacsayhuaman, or of a magical plant that softened rock. Modern experiments suggest log rollers and levers, yet the sheer labor involved hints at a society capable of mobilizing thousands for a single visionary project. Then there's the question of age. While the Inca expanded Sacsayhuaman in the 15th century, many believe its foundations are far older. The site's lower levels feature polygonal masonry eerily similar to that at Tiwanaku and even distant Ollantaytambo, suggesting a shared architectural tradition predating the Inca. Some carvings, like the famed Serpent's Door, depict symbols absent in classic Inca art, fueling theories that Sacsayhuaman was built atop a sacred site of a forgotten culture. Could the Inca have been inheritors, not inventors, of this stone mastery? Purpose adds another layer of mystery. Spanish chroniclers called it a fortress, yet its layout, with ritual baths, sunken courtyards, and celestial alignments, implies a ceremonial role. The zigzag walls may symbolize the lightning god Ilapa, while the three-tiered design mirrors the Inca cosmos: underground Uku Pacha, earthly K Pacha, and heavenly Honan Pacha. During solstices, shadows cast by the walls create patterns that align with nearby sacred peaks, turning the entire complex into a stone calendar. Today, Sacsayhuaman's grandeur is undimmed. Visitors can run their hands over stones worn smooth by time, each groove whispering of artisans who worked with patience we can scarcely imagine. Whether fortress, temple, or both, it stands as a testament to a world view where architecture was cosmology and stone was alive with meaning. As we move next to the elongated skulls of Paracas, consider this. If Sacsayhuaman's walls could speak, would they tell us of the Inca's genius or of secrets lost to the Andes' misty past? But before we leave the realm of stone marvels behind, let's journey south to the windswept desert peninsula of Paracas, where an even more unsettling mystery lies buried in the sands. Here, beneath the shadow of unexplained stone towers, archaeologists have uncovered hundreds of skulls so dramatically elongated that they defy conventional human anatomy. These aren't mere deformities, they're intentional transformations achieved through ancient cranial binding. Yet the Paracas skulls go beyond even that. Their volume is up to 25% larger than typical skulls, their jawlines heavier, and most startling of all, some lack the sagittal suture, the midline seam that normally divides the parietal bones. The how is fascinating, but the why is utterly perplexing. Among the Paracas culture, which thrived from around 800 BC to 100 BC, elongated heads were clearly a marker of elite status. The skulls are found in elaborate tombs, wrapped in vibrant textiles and surrounded by offerings. But was this purely a cultural practice or something deeper? DNA studies on a handful of specimens have revealed genetic mutations unknown in any other human population, fueling wild theories. Could these individuals belong to a lost subspecies? Some point to the skull's reddish hair, uncommon among indigenous Andeans, as potential evidence. Others, inevitably, whisper of extraterrestrial lineage, though mainstream science dismisses this. Then there are the towers. Scattered across Paracas are strange, cylindrical stone structures, some reaching 9 meters in height. Local guides call them energy centers, while archaeologists cautiously label them burial markers or watchtowers. But their placement aligns with certain skull concentrations, suggesting a ritual connection. Were these towers observatories tracking celestial events tied to the elongated elite, or shrines where cranial modification rites took place? The Paracas culture left no written records, so we're left piecing together clues from textiles. Their vivid tapestries depict beings with flowing hair and elongated heads, often holding supernatural objects. Modern science offers partial answers. Cranial binding in infants using wooden boards or tight wraps can reshape the skull over time, a practice seen globally from the Maya to the Huns. But the Paracas skulls' increased volume and structural differences hint at something more profound. Harvard geneticists who analyzed samples noted anomalies in mitochondrial DNA, suggesting possible isolation or unique evolutionary pressures. Skeptics argue contamination or limited sample sizes, but the debate endures. Perhaps the most haunting question isn't biological but cultural. Why would a society go to such lengths to physically differentiate its leaders? In a world where head shape mirrored cosmological ideals, elongated skulls resembling the flowing contours of sacred mountains or divine ancestors, the answer may lie in performance of power. To stand apart, literally, was to bridge the human and the holy. As we prepare to explore Mexico's Guachimontone's pyramids, remember this: Paracas challenges us to reconsider the boundaries of human diversity. Whether these skulls represent an artistic ideal, a genetic fluke, or something stranger, they whisper of a time when identity was carved not just in stone but in bone itself. Now, shifting our gaze from the windswept deserts of Paracas, we arrive in the lush highlands of western Mexico, where an architectural anomaly rises from the earth, the Guachimontone's circular pyramids. Unlike any other pre-Columbian structures, these concentric stepped marvels, built by the Tenochtitlan tradition between 300 BC and 900 CE, defy the angular norms of Mesoamerican pyramids. Picture this: instead of sharp corners and towering peaks, imagine a series of perfect circles, each level stepping inward like a giant stone wedding cake, crowned by a central altar pole. What makes these pyramids truly extraordinary is their purpose. Archaeologists believe they served as the stage for a ritual ball game unlike any other in the Americas. While most Mesoamerican cultures played on rectangular courts, the Tenochtitlan people may have used the circular platforms themselves as a playing field. Imagine athletes clad in vibrant regalia moving along those curved steps, their game intertwined with celestial symbolism. The central pole, some researchers suggest, could have represented the world tree or axis mundi, connecting Earth to the heavens. The society that built these pyramids was just as unique as their architecture. The Tenochtitlan culture thrived without the sprawling cities of their Maya or Aztec contemporaries. Instead, their power was decentralized, revolving around these ceremonial complexes. Yet don't mistake their modesty for simplicity. Excavations reveal elite burials filled with obsidian jewelry, conch shell trumpets, and intricate ceramic vessels depicting ritual scenes. The pyramids themselves were painted in bold reds and whites, their bases adorned with sculptures of rulers wearing horned headdresses, symbols of authority tied to agricultural fertility. But why circles? The answer may lie in the region's volcanic landscape. The circular design mirrors the natural shape of nearby volcanic craters, suggesting a sacred geography linking human-made structures to the forces that shaped their world. Some alignments even point to solstice sunrises, hinting at an astronomical function. Yet the greatest mystery is their sudden abandonment. By 900 CE, the pyramids were carefully sealed, objects placed ritually atop the altars as if awaiting a return that never came. The Tenochtitlan people vanished, leaving no written records, only these silent stone circles whispering of a society that danced to a different rhythm. As we ponder the Guachimontones, let's remember this architectural audacity. In a land of right angles, they chose curves. In a world of empires, they built communities. And in their fleeting existence, they left a legacy that still challenges our understanding of pre-Columbian innovation. Leaving behind the circular mysteries of Mexico, we journey south to the arid coastal plains of Peru, where an ancient solar observatory stands as one of the earliest and most precise calendars in the Americas. The Chanquillo complex, built over 2,300 years ago, is not just a collection of crumbling towers, it's a masterpiece of astronomical engineering. Perched on a barren hill, 13 neatly spaced stone structures stretch like a stony spine across the ridge, each positioned with mathematical precision to mark the sun's journey across the sky. Picture this: from a single vantage point west of the towers, an observer could track the sunrise throughout the year as it shifted between the northernmost and southernmost towers, flanking the central one during solstices and aligning perfectly with the others at equinoxes. The accuracy is staggering. Even today, with modern instruments, scientists confirm the tower's alignments deviate by less than half a degree from true astronomical positions. This wasn't just ritualistic guesswork. It was a functional, solar-powered calendar that could predict seasonal changes to within 1 or 2 days, guiding planting, harvests, and likely ceremonial cycles for the ancient Chasma Sechin culture. But here's the puzzle. Why would such an advanced astronomical tool emerge in what appears to be a heavily fortified zone? The surrounding walls, gates, and defensive structures suggest Tranquillo wasn't just a peaceful observatory. Some researchers propose it was a ceremonial stronghold where control over celestial knowledge equated to political power. Imagine a society where priests or rulers monopolized the ability to read the sun, using their predictions to legitimize authority or negotiate alliances. The towers themselves might have doubled as symbolic guardian stone sentinels marking both time and territory. The craftsmanship only deepens the intrigue. Unlike later Inca constructions with their polished masonry, Tranquillo's builders used rough stones and clay mortar. Yet their understanding of solar geometry rivals, if not predates, the achievements of other ancient astronomies worldwide. Even more striking, the site was abandoned after only a few centuries, its purpose fading into obscurity until modern LiDAR technology revealed its full glory beneath centuries of wind-blown sand. What remains is a testament to a civilization that turned a wind-swept hill into a cosmic clock. Tranquillo challenges our assumptions about pre-Columbian science, blending warfare and wisdom in a way that still echoes across the millennia. As we stand in the shadow of these towers, we're left to wonder, how many other secrets of the ancient sky still wait unread in the deserts of time? Moving from the celestial precision of Tranquillo, we now step into the lush, humid lowlands of Mexico's Gulf Coast, where the Olmec civilization left behind one of the most iconic and baffling legacies of the ancient Americas, the colossal stone heads. Towering as high as 3 meters and weighing up to 40 tons, these massive basalt sculptures, each carved with distinct facial features and elaborate helmets, have sparked debates for decades. Who do they represent? How were they transported across 80 kilometers of swamps and rivers without wheels or draft animals? And what do they reveal about the Olmecs, often called the mother culture of Mesoamerica? The first mystery lies in the stone itself. The basalt used for these heads wasn't local. It was quarried from the Tuxtla Mountains, a grueling 80-kilometer journey through dense jungle and unpredictable terrain. Archaeologists suggest the Olmecs likely transported the raw boulders on rafts along rivers, then rolled them over log rollers, a staggering feat of coordination and labor. Imagine hundreds of workers hauling a single head, inch by inch, under the relentless tropical sun. This wasn't just art, it was a statement of power, a display of a society capable of mobilizing vast resources for monumental projects. But who warranted such effort? The prevailing theory is that these heads depict Olmec rulers, their flattened noses, thick lips, and stern expressions serving as portraits of real individuals. The helmets, some resembling those worn in the ritual Mesoamerican bowl game, hint at a connection to status or warfare, yet there's a twist: no two heads are alike. Each has unique ear ornaments, headgear, and even subtle facial scars, suggesting they commemorate specific leaders, perhaps deified after death. Some researchers propose they might represent ball players, celebrated for their role in a sport that blended athletics, politics, and sacred sacrifice. The Olmecs left no written records, so the heads are silent witnesses to a lost narrative. Their sheer scale implies a highly stratified society, where elites commanded the labor and loyalty of thousands. But why stop at heads? Unlike later Mesoamerican cultures that built pyramids or stelae, the Olmecs invested in these singular sculptures, then buried many of them possibly as part of ceremonial renewal or even political upheaval. 17 heads have been unearthed so far, each a testament to Olmec ingenuity, yet gaps remain. Were they markers of sacred sites, ancestral guardians? The answers may lie deeper in the jungle, waiting to be uncovered. As we study these stone giants, we're reminded that the Olmecs didn't just carve heads, they carved questions into history, ones we're still striving to answer. Deep within the tangled expanse of Guatemala's Petén rainforest lies a forgotten marvel, El Mirador, a Mayan megacity so vast it rewrote our understanding of pre-Columbian urbanism. While the world knows Tikal and Chichén Itzá, El Mirador predates them all, flourishing as early as 600 years before the Common Era. At its heart stands La Danta, a pyramid rising 72 meters taller than even Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza when you account for its massive base. This isn't just a temple, it's the crowning achievement of a civilization that mastered architecture, agriculture, and governance on a scale unmatched in the ancient Americas. What makes El Mirador extraordinary isn't just its size, but the sheer audacity of its construction. Unlike later Mayan cities built with limestone blocks, El Mirador's structures were crafted from carefully cut stone and stucco, requiring an army of laborers and artisans. The city sprawled over 16 square kilometers with causeways linking temples, plazas, and reservoirs, a feat of engineering that suggests a highly centralized authority. Yet here's the puzzle. By the 2nd century of the Common Era, El Mirador was abandoned, its grand avenues reclaimed by the jungle centuries before the classic Maya collapsed. Why did a metropolis of such sophistication fall so early? One theory points to ecological strain. The city's success may have been its undoing. To sustain its population, estimated at over 100,000, the Maya engineered intricate wetland farms and terraces. But deforestation and soil exhaustion could have triggered a cascade of crop failures, forcing inhabitants to disperse. Another clue lies in the ruins themselves. Archaeologists found evidence of deliberate fire damage to key buildings, hinting at internal revolts or invasions. Was El Mirador a victim of its own ambition, or did shifting trade routes starve it of influence? Rediscovery only came in 1926, when aerial surveys revealed ghostly outlines beneath the canopy. Even now, less than 10% of the site has been excavated. Hidden passages and unopened tombs likely hold answers, perhaps even early examples of Mayan writing or royal dynasties lost to time. The jungle guards its secrets fiercely. El Mirador challenges our assumptions about primitive societies. Its scale rivals modern cities, its pyramids whisper of kings whose names we'll never know, and its abandonment remains a cautionary tale about resilience and hubris. As we walk its overgrown plazas, we're left wondering, what other civilizations lie buried, waiting to reshape history? Now, let's journey from the overgrown splendor of El Mirador to the highlands of Ecuador, where the enigmatic walls of Ingapirca stand as a testament to cultural fusion and architectural brilliance. Unlike the purely Mayan ruins we've explored, Ingapirca is a puzzle of duality, a site where Inca and Cañari influences intertwine so seamlessly that archaeologists still debate who truly shaped its destiny. At first glance, Ingapirca's most striking feature is its mortarless masonry, a hallmark of Inca engineering. The precision-cut stones fit together so tightly that not even a blade of grass can slip between them, echoing the grandeur of Machu Picchu. Yet, look closer and you'll notice subtle deviations, rounded corners, asymmetrical layouts, and niches that align with local Cañari designs. This isn't just an Inca outpost, it's a dialogue between two civilizations, one conqueror, the other conquered. How did these styles merge without conflict? The answer may lie in the site's sacred role. Ingapirca's centerpiece, the Temple of the Sun, is a masterclass in celestial alignment. During solstices, sunlight cascades through its trapezoidal doorways, illuminating hidden chambers in a spectacle that honored both Inti, the sun god, and Cañari lunar deities. Some scholars argue this wasn't merely an Inca imposition but a deliberate act of religious syncretism, a way to pacify the Cañari by weaving their beliefs into the empire's cosmology. But Ingapirca's mysteries don't end with spirituality. Local legends whisper of treasure concealed within its walls. Spanish chronicles tell of Inca nobles fleeing Cusco with gold, only to vanish near these ruins. Modern searches have turned up empty, yet the allure persists. Could the real treasure be the site itself? The Cañari's advanced understanding of hydrology is evident in Ingapirca's intricate water channels, which mirror their reverence for sacred springs, a feature the Inca preserved and expanded. Perhaps the greatest puzzle is Ingapirca's abandonment. Unlike other Inca sites, it shows no signs of destruction by Spanish hands. Was it quietly deserted as the empire crumbled, or did the Cañari reclaim it as their own? The stones remain silent, but their harmony speaks volumes. Here, two cultures forged something rare in history, not just a monument but a legacy of coexistence. As we walk these ancient corridors, we're left to ponder, was Ingapirca a symbol of conquest, compromise, or something deeper? Its walls don't just hold stones, they hold stories waiting to be decoded. Let's leave behind the blended walls of Ingapirca and travel north through Ecuador's highlands, where the Cochasqui pyramids rise like silent sentinels over the Andean plains. Unlike the intricate stonework of Inca sites, these 15 earthen mounds, each with their distinctive ramps, tell a story of a culture that mastered both the earth and the sky. Built by the Kitu-Kara people centuries before the Inca arrived, Cochasqui challenges our assumptions about pre-Columbian societies. Were these pyramids merely agricultural terraces or something far more celestial? The first thing you'll notice is their shape. Unlike the sharp angles of Mesoamerican pyramids, Cochasqui structures are truncated, flattened at the top, and flanked by long, sloping ramps. Some archaeologists argue these ramps were practical, used to transport soil for farming on the highlands' thin, rocky terrain. Indeed, the terraced sides could have stabilized crops against erosion, turning barren slopes into fertile patches. But others point to the ramp's precise alignment with solstices and equinoxes. During the June solstice, the sun sets directly behind the longest ramp, casting a shadow that divides the pyramid in perfect halves. Was this a giant agricultural calendar or a stage for rituals under the stars? The Kitu-Kara's ingenuity doesn't stop there. Excavations reveal hidden chambers beneath the pyramids, filled with artifacts like spindle whorls and ceramic vessels depicting celestial bodies. One pottery fragment shows a figure with rays emanating from its head, possibly a sun priest overseeing ceremonies. Nearby, carvings of spirals mirror the Milky Way's path across the Andean sky. This obsession with the cosmos hints that Cochasqui was more than a farm. It might have been a pilgrimage site where communities gathered to mark time and petition deities for rain. Yet the pyramid's duality lingers. Soil samples show layers of ash and burnt offerings, suggesting fire rituals, while terraces still bear traces of quinoa and maize. Perhaps the answer isn't either-or. The Kitu-Kara likely saw no divide between feeding the body and nourishing the soul. Their pyramids could have doubled as both granary and temple, where harvest festivals blurred into celestial worship. The final mystery is their resilience. While the Inca absorbed many cultures, Cochasqui's pyramids show no signs of forced conquest. Instead, they stand as a quiet rebuke to the idea that pre-Inca societies were primitive. Here, a people without written records engineered monuments that tracked time, sustained life, and honored the divine, all with nothing but packed earth and keen observation. As the Andes wind whistles through these ancient ramps, it carries a question. Did the Kitu-Kara build pyramids, or did they build a bridge between earth and sky? Now, let's journey from the highland pyramids of Cochasqui to the windswept plateau of Marcahuasi, where the very rocks seem to breathe with life. Perched nearly 4,000 meters above sea level in the Peruvian Andes, this so-called stone forest is a gallery of natural, or perhaps not so natural, wonders. Here, the elements have carved towering figures that eerily resemble human faces, animals, and even mythical creatures. But the question lingers, are these shapes the work of wind and rain over millennia, or did an ancient civilization leave their mark on this otherworldly landscape? The moment you step onto Marcahuasi's plateau, the scale of these formations strikes you. Some stand over 20 meters tall, their silhouettes sharp against the high-altitude sky. The most famous, dubbed the Monument to Humanity, appears to depict a lineup of distinct faces, some say representing different races, others whispering of ancient gods. Nearby, a massive boulder bears an uncanny resemblance to a crouching lion, while another mimics the profile of an eagle mid-flight. The precision of these shapes has fueled debates for decades. Geologists argue that freeze-thaw cycles and wind erosion could explain the formations, pointing to similar structures worldwide. Yet, the density of recognizable figures in one place feels unlikely to be pure coincidence. Then there are the details that defy easy explanation. Certain rocks feature grooves and indentations that look suspiciously like tool marks. One formation, known as the Inca's Head, has a perfectly carved ridge resembling a headdress, something erosion rarely produces with such symmetry. Locals speak of hidden tunnels beneath the stones, though few have been thoroughly explored. Adding to the mystery, indigenous legends say Marcahuasi was a sanctuary for shamans, a place where the veil between worlds grew thin. Some visitors even claim to feel strange energy here, reporting dizziness or sudden temperature drops near specific rocks. The site's modern reputation took off in the 1950s when explorer Daniel Russo proposed that the formations were intentionally sculpted by a lost civilization over 10,000 years ago. He believed the rocks encoded ancient knowledge, a theory later embraced by UFO enthusiasts who linked the site to extraterrestrial visitations. Skeptics dismiss this as pareidolia, the human tendency to see familiar patterns in random shapes, but the allure persists. After all, why does this remote plateau, far from any known pre-Columbian settlement, harbor such a concentration of evocative forms? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Marcahuasi's rocks may indeed be natural, but their significance could have been amplified by human hands. Imagine ancient pilgrims ascending to this sacred ground, chiseling subtle enhancements into the stone to honor the spirits they already saw dwelling within. Or consider the possibility that the site's eerie energy, whether magnetic anomalies or sheer altitude, inspired rituals, leaving an imprint as lasting as the stones themselves. As the mist curls around these silent sentinels at dawn, what's undeniable is Marcahuasi's power to provoke wonder. Whether shaped by nature, humans, or something beyond our understanding, this highland sanctuary reminds us that the past rarely surrenders its secrets easily. And sometimes the most profound mysteries aren't in the answers we find, but in the questions that keep us searching. Leaving the enigmatic stone figures of Marcahuasi behind, we now descend into the lush, watery expanse of the Bolivian Amazon, where an ancient engineering marvel lies hidden beneath the green canopy. Spread across an astonishing 20,000 square kilometers, the Moxo's raised fields form one of the most extensive and least understood landscapes shaped by pre-Columbian hands. Imagine a vast network of artificial islands, canals, and causeways crisscrossing the wetlands, a testament to a civilization that mastered hydraulic technology long before modern engineers. At first glance, this region appears to be untouched wilderness, but aerial surveys reveal geometric patterns etched into the earth. These aren't random formations, they're the remnants of raised agricultural fields, carefully constructed to elevate crops above seasonal floods. Each rectangular plot, some measuring over 100 meters long, is bordered by canals that regulated water flow and likely teemed with fish, creating a self-sustaining ecosystem. The scale is staggering, equivalent to roughly 3 million football fields, hinting at a population far larger than historians once assumed could thrive in the Amazon. The mystery deepens when we ask who built this. The region was home to the Moxos people, but evidence suggests older cultures may have originated the system. Archaeologists have uncovered ceramics and tools dating back over 2,000 years, alongside mysterious circular mounds that may have served as ceremonial centers. What's clear is that these builders possessed an intimate understanding of their environment. The canals didn't just prevent flooding, they trapped nutrient-rich sediments to fertilize crops and even moderated local temperatures, creating microclimates that boosted yields. Debate rages over whether this was primarily a food production system or something more profound. Some researchers argue the fields could have supported up to 1 million people, challenging the notion that the pre-Columbian Amazon was a sparsely populated green desert. Others propose the network was an ecological experiment designed to manage biodiversity or even worship water deities. Indigenous oral histories speak of a time when the land was ordered like a tapestry, woven by ancestors who communed with rivers and storms. One of the most compelling clues lies in the forest islands, patches of elevated land dotted with fruit trees that still thrive today. These weren't random clearings but deliberate plantations, suggesting the builders' plan for long-term sustainability. Even more intriguing are the zigzagging causeways that connect sites across the wetlands. Were they roads, territorial markers, or part of a grand ritual landscape? The answer may lie in the region's extreme seasons. During the dry period, these features transform the terrain into a labyrinth of earth and water, aligning with celestial events like the solstices. Modern scientists are only beginning to unravel the secrets of Moxos. LiDAR technology has exposed hidden structures beneath the vegetation, including potential settlements with ceremonial plazas. Yet, the sophistication of this system raises haunting questions. How did a civilization without metal tools or written records engineer such precision? And why did their knowledge vanish, leaving later cultures to reinvent farming techniques from scratch? As we stand amid these whispering grasses, it's tempting to view the Moxos fields as a lost utopia of sustainability. But perhaps their true legacy is subtler, a reminder that human ingenuity has always been shaped by nature's challenges, and that even the grandest designs can fade into the earth, waiting to be rediscovered. Now, shifting our gaze from the watery plains of Bolivia to the rugged highlands of Peru, we uncover a hidden world beneath the ancient Weri capital, a sprawling maze of subterranean galleries that whispers of rituals, reverence, and perhaps even realms beyond our understanding. These underground corridors, carved deep into the earth, are more than mere tunnels. They're a window into a civilization that thrived 1,000 years before the Inca, yet whose influence may have shaped their successors' most enduring legends. The Weri Empire, often overshadowed by the Inca, was a powerhouse of innovation and cultural synthesis. At their capital near modern-day Ayacucho, they constructed a vast complex of stone-lined passageways, some stretching over 100 meters, with walls adorned in intricate carvings and niches that held offerings. Unlike the dry, utilitarian tunnels of other ancient cultures, these galleries feel deliberately ceremonial. The air is cool and heavy, the darkness punctuated by shafts of light filtering from above, engineered to align with solstices or lunar cycles, hinting at celestial connections. Archaeologists believe these spaces were central to ancestor worship, a practice the Weri shared with later Andean cultures. The niches might have held mummified remains or sacred objects, transforming the galleries into a physical bridge between the living and the dead. But what's truly fascinating is how these subterranean halls echo in Inca mythology. Centuries after the Weri's decline, the Inca spoke of Pachamama, Earth Mother, and Aku Pacha, the underworld realm where spirits and deities dwelled. Could the Weri's tunnels have inspired these tales? Some researchers argue yes, pointing to similarities in design between Weri sites and later Inca Ushnas ceremonial platforms, suggesting a continuity of belief. The precision of the galleries raises another enigma. How did the Weri, without advanced tools, carve such stable, interconnected spaces? The walls are fitted with drainage channels to prevent flooding, and ventilation shafts maintain airflow, evidence of sophisticated engineering. Even more puzzling are the occasional dead-end chambers, their purpose unclear. Were they storage rooms, meditation cells, or portals for spiritual journeys? Local legends speak of chincanas, secret tunnels leading to treasure or otherworldly kingdoms, and while these are often dismissed as folklore, the Weri's real-life labyrinths blur the line between myth and history. Recent excavations have uncovered artifacts like tupus ornamental pins and shattered ceramics, suggesting rituals involving deliberate breakage, a practice seen in later Inca ceremonies. But the Weri left no written records, leaving us to piece together their beliefs from physical clues. One compelling theory ties the galleries to Aini, the Andean concept of reciprocity. By honoring ancestors underground, the Weri may have sought to maintain balance between the human and spirit worlds, ensuring prosperity for their empire. As we wind through these shadowy passages, it's impossible not to wonder, did the Inca, who revered the Weri as predecessors, incorporate these galleries into their own cosmology? The Incas' Capacocha rituals, which involved offerings in high-altitude shrines, mirror the Weri's underground devotions. Perhaps both cultures shared a vision of the earth as a living entity, its depths as sacred as its peaks. The Weri's galleries endure as a silent testament to a civilization that mastered both the physical and spiritual landscapes. They challenge us to reconsider the roots of Andean spirituality, and to ask what other secrets might still lie buried, waiting for the light of discovery. Now, let's journey from the shadowy depths of the Weri's underground galleries to the sunlit highlands of Ecuador, where the Cañari people mastered an element as vital as earth water. Their ingenious hydraulic systems, woven into the landscape like liquid poetry, reveal a civilization that didn't just survive in the Andes but thrived by harnessing its most unpredictable force. At sites like Culebrillas, the Cañari built water temples so precise they seemed to defy time. These weren't mere reservoirs but sacred spaces where engineering and spirituality flowed together. Picture this, a network of stone canals, pools, and channels carved into the mountainside, designed to collect and distribute water with almost mathematical precision. The centerpiece, a serpent-shaped stone structure, Culebrillas means little snakes winding through the terraces, symbolizing the Cañari's reverence for water's life-giving power. But what's truly remarkable is how these systems functioned without modern tools. The gradients were calculated so perfectly that water moved effortlessly, avoiding erosion while irrigating crops and filling ceremonial baths. The Cañari's water temples weren't just practical, they were portals to the divine. Local legends speak of Nuki, the moon goddess who controlled rains and rivers. Rituals here likely honored her, with priests offering treasures, golden figurines, spondylus shells, into the pools to ensure fertility and balance. Archaeologists have found evidence of these offerings, suggesting a deep belief in water's sacred role. One chamber, dubbed the Moon Temple, aligns with the lunar cycle, its walls shimmering with reflected light during certain phases. It's a haunting reminder of how the Cañari saw water not just as a resource but as a celestial dialogue. Their mastery of hydraulics also became a weapon. When the Inca Empire expanded into Cañari territory in the 15th century, they met fierce resistance. The Cañari used their intimate knowledge of waterways to flood paths, divert streams, and even trigger landslides against invaders. Some historians argue this prolonged their independence for decades, a testament to how deeply they understood their environment. Even after conquest, the Inca adopted Cañari techniques, integrating their water systems into sites like Ingapirca, yet mysteries linger. How did the Cañari map underground springs with such accuracy? Why did some channels abruptly end in dry ravines as if designed for unseen purposes? And could their moon rituals hold clues to lost astronomical knowledge? Unlike the Weri, the Cañari left traces of their language in place names and oral traditions, but their full story remains as fluid as the waters they revered. Standing by Culebrillas today, you can still hear the whisper of ancient engineering, the quiet rush of water through stone, a sound unchanged for centuries. It's a symphony of survival, worship, and defiance, reminding us that some civilizations leave their mark not in towering monuments but in the very elements that sustain life. From the flowing waters of the Cañari, we now step into the shadowy depths of one of South America's most enigmatic spiritual hubs, the Chavin de Huanta labyrinth in Peru. This sprawling temple complex, built around 3,000 years ago, wasn't just a place of worship, it was an immersive sensory experience designed to transport visitors into a trance-like state. At the heart of this mystery are the temple's ingenious acoustic engineering and play of light. Narrow, winding corridors amplify even the faintest whispers into eerie echoes, while carefully positioned vents channel wind to produce low, droning sounds like the growl of a jaguar. Archaeologists suggest priests used these effects during rituals, perhaps while participants were under the influence of hallucinogenic substances like the San Pedro cactus. Imagine walking those dimly lit passages, surrounded by unnatural sounds, as flickering torchlight cast shifting shadows of carved jaguar deities on the walls. It was a masterclass in psychological manipulation, meant to blur the line between the human and divine worlds. Speaking of jaguars, they dominate Chavin's iconography. The temple's iconic Lanzon monolith, a 15-foot-tall granite spear plunged into the chamber's floor, depicts a snarling jaguar-human hybrid, its claws curled around a mythical staff. Surrounding galleries are lined with similar figures, their elongated fangs and slit-pupilled eyes suggesting transformation or possession. Scholars believe these represent a shamanic tradition where priests, through ritual and hallucinogens, became jaguars to commune with spirits. This theme wasn't unique to Chavin, it later spread across the Andes, influencing cultures from the Moch to the Inca, making this site a cradle of pan-Andean religious ideas. Yet the labyrinth holds darker puzzles. Beneath the main temple, a network of drains suggests liquid, possibly blood or chicha ritual beer, flowed through channels during ceremonies. Meanwhile, hidden chambers contain conch shell trumpets called pututus, which emit deep, resonant blasts. When played in unison, these could mimic the roar of a jaguar or the rumble of thunder, deepening the sensory overload. Even the temple's alignment is uncanny. Its main staircase points directly to the rising sun during the December solstice, illuminating the Lanzon at dawn like a spotlight on the divine. What's most baffling is how Chavin's influence endured. Artifacts bearing its distinctive art style have been found hundreds of miles away, suggesting pilgrims carried its teachings across the Andes. But around 2,000 years ago, the site was deliberately buried not by invaders but by its own people. Was this to preserve its power or to contain it? Today, standing in those echoing halls, you can almost hear the whispers of a civilization that knew how to turn architecture into a doorway to the unseen. Leaving behind the echoing chambers of Chavin, our journey now takes us to the mist-shrouded peaks of Colombia's Sierra Nevada, where the Torona people carved their masterpiece into the mountains, Ciudad Perdida, the lost city. Hidden beneath dense jungle for centuries, this sprawling network of stone terraces and circular plazas wasn't rediscovered until the 1970s, when looters stumbled upon its moss-covered steps. But what makes this site truly extraordinary isn't just its age. It's the living thread connecting it to the present through the Kogi people, who consider themselves its spiritual heirs. Ciudad Perdida's design is a marvel of adaptation. Built around 1,200 years ago, its tiered terraces cling to steep slopes, preventing erosion while channeling rainwater into intricate irrigation systems. Each level served a purpose: lower platforms for crops, middle tiers for homes, and the highest circles for rituals, all connected by a web of stone paths. The Tairona were master engineers, but their true legacy might be their gold work. Archaeologists have found tiny pendants and beads depicting bats, frogs, and jaguars, symbols of a cosmology where animals bridge the human and spirit worlds. These artifacts suggest Ciudad Perdida was a hub of trade, funneling gold and cotton between the coast and highlands long before the Spanish arrived. Yet the city's abandonment around the 16th century remains a puzzle. Unlike other sites ravaged by conquest, there's no evidence of violence here. Instead, the Tairona seem to have vanished into the forest, leaving behind intact structures, even ceremonial offerings placed carefully on floors. Some researchers theorize European diseases raced ahead of invaders, decimating the population. Others point to climate shifts or internal strife, but the Kogi, who claim descent from the Tairona, offer a different explanation. Their ancestors foresaw the coming destruction and retreated to protect sacred knowledge. This brings us to the most haunting aspect of Ciudad Perdida: its guardians. The Kogi, who call the site Tiwanaku, believe it's the heart of the world. Their Mamos priests still perform rituals on its plazas, whispering prayers to maintain cosmic balance. They warn that humanity's disregard for nature mirrors the mistakes that doomed the Tairona, a message they've shared with outsiders since the 1990s. Walking these terraces today, you'll see offerings of paporo gourds and coca leaves tucked between stones, left by Kogi pilgrims. It's a rare glimpse into an unbroken tradition where the past isn't ruins, it's a living dialogue with the earth. What lingers is the irony. While we call it lost, the Kogi never forgot Ciudad Perdida. Their presence challenges us to see beyond archaeology, to recognize that some mysteries aren't meant to be solved, only honored. As dawn breaks over the Sierra Nevada, painting the terraces in gold, it's hard not to wonder what other stories these mountains hold just beyond our sight. Shifting our gaze from the misty peaks of Colombia to the highlands of central Mexico, we arrive at a site where science and spirituality intertwine: the enigmatic Xochicalco Observatory. Perched on a fortified hilltop, this 7th-century marvel blends the artistry of the Maya with the architectural genius of Teotihuacan, creating a space where ancient astronomers decoded the heavens. At its heart lies a man-made cave unlike any other. Carved deep into the rock, its ceiling features a narrow tube angled precisely to capture the sun's rays. During the summer solstice, sunlight pierces this zenithal opening like a laser, projecting a glowing disk onto the cave floor. But here's the twist: as the sun moves, so does the light, tracking a path across murals of Mayan gods and celestial serpents. Researchers believe this wasn't just spectacle. The alignment may have helped priests predict planting seasons, turning the cave into a living agricultural calendar. Imagine farmers gathered below, watching the sun's journey paint divine messages on the walls, signaling when to sow maize or harvest beans. Xochicalco's hybrid art tells another story. Between 600 and 900 AD, this city thrived as a crossroads of cultures. Stelae depict feathered serpents with the flowing outlines of Maya glyphs, yet their geometric precision echoes Teotihuacan's rigid symmetry. Even the famed Pyramid of the Feathered Serpent here features carvings of warriors in Mayan headdresses holding Teotihuacan-style weapons, a melting pot of ideologies. Some scholars argue Xochicalco was a refuge for elites fleeing Teotihuacan's collapse, who then blended their traditions with local knowledge. Others see it as a diplomatic hub where rival civilizations negotiated under the stars. The observatory's decline mirrors its mysteries. By 900 AD, Xochicalco was burned and abandoned. Was it invasion, drought, or a revolt against the astronomer priests? The ruins offer no clear answers, yet the cave endures, its light show still operational. modern visitors who stand inside during solstice witness the same phenomenon that once guided an entire civilization, a reminder that even in ruins these structures speak. As the projected sunbeam aligns with a carved serpent's eye, you can almost hear the whispers of ancient skywatchers, their wisdom etched in stone and light. Xochicalco challenges us to rethink pre-Columbian science. This wasn't mere stargazing, it was a sophisticated dialogue between Earth and cosmos, where architecture became a tool for survival. And perhaps that's the most striking lesson. In a world without written manuals, these builders encoded vital knowledge into the very bones of their cities, waiting for us to decipher their silent language. As we draw the threads of this journey together, let's pause to reflect on the astonishing legacy of these 25 structures, each a testament to the brilliance and mystery of the pre-Columbian world. From the colossal Pyramid of Cholula, hidden beneath layers of earth and time, to the celestial precision of Xochicalco's observatory, these monuments defy simple explanation. They are not just stones and mortar but profound expressions of cultures that understood the cosmos, the land, and the unseen forces binding them together. Think about the Nazca Lines sprawling across the desert like a giant sketchbook, or the haunting stone spheres of Costa Rica, their purpose lost to the ages. Consider the Weri's underground labyrinths, where whispers of ancestor worship still linger, and the Ingapirca walls, where Inca and Cañari traditions merge seamlessly. These structures challenge our modern assumptions, proving that ancient peoples achieved feats of engineering, astronomy, and artistry that still leave us in awe. Which of these mysteries resonates with you the most? Is it the eerie acoustics of Tikal amplifying whispers across centuries? The sunken terraces of Yonaguni caught between nature and human hands? Or perhaps the towering fortress of Sacsayhuaman, where stones fit so tightly a blade of grass can't slip through? Every site we've explored holds a piece of a puzzle, one that archaeologists, historians, and even satellite technology are still piecing together today. And that's the thrilling part, the story isn't over. With every excavation, laser scan, or reinterpretation of glyphs, we uncover new clues. Who's to say what tomorrow's discoveries will reveal? A lost manuscript in the cave of the Teos, a hidden chamber beneath Teotihuacan's pyramids, or perhaps the truth behind the elongated skulls of Paracas. The past has a way of surprising us, and these structures are far from done sharing their secrets. So, as we close this chapter, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below telling me which pre-Columbian wonder captured your imagination, and why. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed unraveling these enigmas with me, and hit that subscribe button to join us as we dive into more hidden histories. Who knows, the next breakthrough might be just around the corner, and you won't want to miss it. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the greatest stories of the past are still waiting to be told.